Hi folks, this is Karshel. I appreciate you joining me. Today I'm going to be screwing around with No Man's Sky by Hello Games, a game of space exploration and terrestrial exploration. And as you can see from the screen here, I've got games running in normal, survival, and permadeath. I am going to wipe my permadeath and start over again with that. I had initially done a recording of the start of that particular game, but because I'm new to YouTube and new to recording content, the music that I always listen to in the background was too loud, and I can't imagine that many people would have enjoyed listening to it because they couldn't hear me talk. Not that that's particularly important, but any tips, tricks, or hints that I gave would have been lost because of the volume of the music. So I've kind of tweaked my levels a little bit, and hopefully this is going to work out much better. We shall see. So, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, there is a way to discard your data and start new. My permadeath is gone. And now we'll be starting it over. I had made it to the ship in the last run. Hopefully this planet's not going to be too bad. It's going to take a minute for it to run through its initialization cycle and start. And for now, I'll leave you with the music and I'll be back when it's done.
I love to feel the ocean blowing in my face. Wave as the old boats depart.
And it looks like it is ready to roll. Time to play the crapshoot and see what we come up with for a starting planet on permadeath. Temperature so far does not look too bad. It is daytime, so it'll be colder at night. Lots of iridium and, of course, iron available. Iron is almost always available. And I'm near a shelter so I can get out of the weather, which is nice. Shouldn't be bad. Sentinels aren't bad. Wildlife should not be too common and too dangerous. And just mild radioactivity. So again, got lucky in the planetary roll. A Gek system, which is, in all honesty, they're one of my favorite races, although I don't really have a good reason for why. Now, when you're first starting out, if you're by a building like this, keep it in mind. It's a very quick way to get recharged on your environmental protection on your suit. Also, if you were noticing, I just picked up a bunch of nanites. Those are a new item with the Pathfinder update. They are used to purchase recipes for crafting, for suit protections, ship weaponry, multi-tool upgrades, all of those things. So nanites can be very handy to have, at least until you've got all of those. The merchant for those is found in the space stations of each individual system, and by system, what they have available will usually be different. So if you have plenty of nanites but nothing new is in that space station, then you will need to go to a different system to be able to continue to upgrade your equipment, or to be able to get the recipes to upgrade your equipment. Now while I'm here, still inside looking out the door, pressing tab on the PC will bring up my detailed inventory and show you what I have available. It will also show you what has to be fixed, and by hovering over it, it will show you what I need to fix that. Those items are going to be unusable until I repair them, so the first thing that I want to concentrate is picking up on some iron and some carbon. Carbon can be found in almost any plant. When you hover a targeting cursor over it, frequently it will tell you what you will actually harvest from that equipment, but you might have to get close to it. Wow, this one's just not cooperating at all. Okay. Now it's telling me. And I need 40, so I still do not have all that I need. We'll cut down this tree as well. If you'll notice, I'm pulsing the mining beam on and off. That allows it to cool down between uses, so it does not overheat. If you do overheat your mining beam or your weapon, it just takes waiting for a few minutes before it's actually usable again. Well, not even minutes, but moments. And I've got the carbon to repair that, so I will click on it. That is now repaired. I need iron for this one. Now what that did was allow me to repair my scanner, which will scan for minerals. I cannot yet scan for wildlife to categorize it, because that piece is broken. That's what I'm going to be working on now. Now, I'm not a big fan of the little crab-like animals. It seems like very often they are aggressive and will actually work on damaging you. So keep an eye out for those, especially when you are just starting out and are still easily damaged. Generally, if you are taking damage, be it from a sentinel or from a creature, and you run inside of a building, it'll act as a safe haven and you can get away from them. Really, only in the early game is it particularly important to worry about that. Once you get a basic level of gear, they become less of a threat, though there are times it can still be an issue. Now, as you can see, the sentinels noticed that I was mining. They are not big fans of that. So they're going to come check me out and see if they assess me as a threat. If they do, they will go into attack mode. It depends on what kind of planet you're on as to where that threshold is that they cross. On some planets, they will attack you on sight. But I basically just wait for them to go away, and now I can start harvesting again. They may or may not notice again, but either way, I need the material, so I'm going to get it. Now, you may have noticed that I stopped harvesting while they were there. Had I continued to fire while they were by the item, they might very well have thought that I was shooting at them and turned hostile. At this point in time, I don't have the health to be able to deal with that very well. Later on, again, that becomes less of an issue, and taking out sentinels can be useful for harvesting the materials that they're made out of. Now I have that repaired. I need to pick up some items to actually be able to repair or to recharge my beam. At the moment I don't have any. I'm looking primarily for plutonium, though for the mining beam I can also use carbon. I can also use thamium. So it is not as picky as your suit is. Your suit needs just thamium 9 to be able to recharge. But now I can come out here and do a scan of that particular animal. I will get credit for discovering it. I will get units for discovering it. And I will get some information, which is on the bottom right part of the screen, as far as what its temperament is. That can be very important if you're dealing with aggressive animals, because it will show up there, and you know that when you see that, you need to be aware that it may potentially attack you. Now my scanner is repaired. I have done some general things here. I'm going to save the game. Although with permadeath that is not as important, because if you die it wipes the game anyway. But it's still a good habit to get into, because if nothing else, say you lose power or lose your internet connection, it gives you a point to restart from. You will occasionally find pods like this scattered around a landscape. They are great to check into because they give you nanites, which again you can turn around and spend for other things. Now that icon means that my ship, which is crashed, is in that direction. You can also see on the top center of the screen that there's an inverted bow, and that kind of gives you an idea of what direction what things are as well. So by targeting my ship with my target little button, it'll actually tell me how far away it is. That's not far for a survival game or permadeath game. I'm going to recharge my environmental protection, and then I will head out across country and try to get there. Luckily in these buildings, environmental hazard recharges really fast. That is not normal. There will be times you have to stop when you're going cross country and recharge it. It is a much slower process, but it's all part of the survival trip. Now for my ship, my first thing is going to be getting to it, but then I'm going to have to do repairs. I know because of experience that there are going to be certain things that I need to be able to repair it. Iron is one of them, iridium is one of them, zinc is one of them, and of course plutonium for fuel. So as I'm going across country to my ship, I will occasionally stop and grab things like that if I'm in a safe area. With survival and permadeath modes, you want to always keep in mind how much hazard protection is on your suit and whether or not you have shelter somewhat nearby, because it's all about being able to survive. If it takes you longer to get somewhere, so be it, because if you die in permadeath, you are done, of course. Now, see this little shelf of rock right there? That's where I am going to first, because I think that's a hard enough shelf that I could actually stand under it and recharge my environmental protection. Yes, it is. So I'm going to do that and let it recharge, and then I'll probably head straight across to that next one over there. Running from space to space for shield protection and regeneration is more important, in my opinion, than racing to get to your ship. Doing that can get you out into the middle of a wide open space with no shelter available and lead to your death. In survival, okay, it's not critical, you'll die, you'll respawn. In normal, again, not a big deal. In permadeath, you die, you're done. You start all over again. So if you want to actually get anywhere, you have to play it careful, in my opinion. Some people disagree, and I respect their right to do so. Now you can see those red spikes a little bit to the above and left of my cursor. Those are plutonium. We're going to grab those as I go by. Because not only does it fuel my multi-tool, it fuels my ship, and I'm going to have fuel to be able to blast off once I repair the ship, of course. If I have to, I can drop down into a hole like that. I'll burn more fuel getting out of it, but having protection is critically important. At the moment I'm not seeing much out here, so I'm going to start sprinting. Burns up my life support faster, but enables me to cross country a little bit better. Okay, those might be caves ahead of me. I'm going to assume that they are and hope that I can get there Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Well, a lot of the crab things around here. Okay, that's a cave. I'm going to jump in there and allow my stuff to recharge. After I grab the Thamium 9, which is over here, which is what my suit needs for life support. That's using my scanner in hopes that there's a creature out there which I could grab some credit for, but nothing's right in front of me. Now you notice when I do that, little white dots appear. Those are creatures. It does not necessarily identify them as ones that I've already seen, with the exception of that one, which is close enough, and it shows a green dot. That means I have already scanned that particular type of creature. If it is confirming one that I have not, it will come up as a red dot. You will find that on survival and permadeath modes, you do spend a bit of time waiting for your shields to recharge, waiting to make sure that you're out of the worst weather. That's just part of the deal. If you don't have a degree of patience, then they might not be the game modes for you. Stick with normal or creative. I know some people just are not into the whole survival thing and have very little patience. And they certainly have the right, it's their gameplay. But the modes of gameplay that I enjoy require a little bit more patience to be able to do them. And in a lot of ways, games are all about eating up your time. So the fact that it takes a while doesn't concern me much. Because I'm in a hazard environment and I don't have a lot of resources, I'm not even going to worry about categorizing animals and scanning for them at the moment. I am just worried about getting to it. And of course enjoying my music along the way. Now those are a pain in the butt. They're like little whips that come out of the ground and will do damage to you. Especially if you are low on health or newly playing, they can be an issue. Because if you're not looking for them, they will catch you. Where is my next shelter? Probably there. Might be able to shelter under these ridges of materials, but doesn't look deep enough for that. This I know is deep enough. If I get there in time, I should be able to. Now, if you get under a sufficient overhang of something, it will start to give you environmental protection. Now, while my environmental suit recharges, that gives me an opportunity to scan for any potential wildlife that might be out and about. Unfortunately, I am not seeing anything out there which I can pull up points for, or units. I have no clue how the game controls spawning of creatures. I've never seen them just suddenly appear in an area like this that doesn't have any when I initially get to it. Maybe perhaps someday someone will figure that out, but so far that I have heard of, it has not occurred. Now, if I had the inventory space, harvesting that emerald would be great. It sells well, and it would make it a lot easier to start actually getting money, but I just don't have the space for excess stuff at the moment. I'm tempted to run over there and find that zinc, but I'm just not really in the mood, and I will need that to launch my ship. Okay, my health is about back to full, so I'm going to head out. You can see the smoke plume over there now. That is where my wreck is. I don't know if I will make it on this particular burst from here to there, but it's potentially close, and if I do get in my ship, at that point it provides hazard protection, so I wouldn't have to worry about my suit. And I would regen suit protection in it, not as fast as you do in a building. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a creature there that I passed to his left, potentially because he was a aggressive creature. I just kept moving, and I'll worry about scanning it later once I am more secure and saved at my ship. Again, with permadeath, you've got to be careful. You've got to play it safe. I was hoping this was the cave area, that's why I turned and came over here. But no. So now I'm going to start sprinting and eat up the remaining distance as fast as I can, using the jetpack to climb, which burns through your life support faster, but sometimes that's the only option. And now I have made it to the ship. So I'm safe from the environment issues, and at this point the mission becomes repairing the ship and getting off of the planet.